Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Hey, Gurudev. So we stopped here yesterday. Only human beings are not programmed. It is only when you come to human beings, even a small child, that you find a difference. When you call a puppy, it wags its tail and comes every time because it connects you're calling it by name with a cookie or some other treat in your hand. But if you call your young child by the same name, whether you hold out a cookie or not, he or she may or may not come. Why? Because the child is much more than a pup. He or she is a complete person with a will of his or her own, asserted from childhood onwards. This is always a problem for parents, especially when they want the child to perform for guests, for instance. If the child is at all concerned about what others will think, there is no way he or she will perform. Even as adults, most of our worries are based on what others will think, a problem not shared with other living beings. When a cow wants to make a noise, it does so without bothering about what anyone will think. If a dog wants to bark, a donkey wants to bray, or a lion wants to roar, they too do not concern themselves with what others will think. Wherever there is water, all the frogs in the vicinity will gather every evening and put on a concert. The racket they create is so dreadful that you cannot sleep. But the frogs are not at all concerned with what you or anyone else thinks of their music. Only human beings have this problem because they have free will and a self image, half of which depends on what others think. Therefore, they are entirely different and not and are not going to do exactly what is to be done unless they decide to do so. In the process of growth, a person picks up hundreds of ragas and dveshas, likes and dislikes. Such fancies are always there, and we find that convenience is usually the order that we follow. This is why we often do not bother about no trespassing signs and cut across a rectangle diagonally, thereby creating a path. Even though it is someone's private property. And once there is a path, a right to it also seems to be established. This is what is meant by the term grandfather rights. We also see evidence that convenience is one's nature wherever there is a sign saying post no bills. There will even be a bill stuck right on top of the very sign, perhaps so that the problem will disappear. Thus, convenience is often the governing factor. We want what is convenient, what is pleasant. Easy gratification is exactly what human beings go for. If some work, pain, or effort is involved, we want to avoid it. The human disposition is like that, going after easy, quick gratification, wanting only what pays off immediately. This is our nature. We have therefore created in ourselves a number of raga dveshas, which prompt us to perform various actions that are not often in keeping with dharma and adharma. To go against dharma, the Lord, is to go against the order that is the Lord, and this is adharma. Doing one's own duties is worship. Since the creation operates according to this same order, there is definitely a reason that you were born. Your parents may not have wanted you, but somehow you were born. Even if you feel unwanted, still you are here because without you, this world is definitely incomplete. That is why you are here. It is as simple as that. If you see a purpose in everything in the world, why should you take your presence in this big politic of humanity as anything other than important? Even if your own body politic, everything has a role to play. Just as a tree is there, you are also there. You are important. You have roles to play and things to do. Ishvara's job is going on, and you are a cog in his wheel. This being the case, naturally you have to do your job. You have to know that at this time and place, this is the job that you have to do. This is called swakarma. Just as every animal and every tree contributes to this great creation, you too make your contribution. Whatever be your job, your swakarma, that very karma becomes an offering to Ishvara. Offerings to the Lord need not always be in the form of flowers. Bhagavan says that by doing what is to be done by you at a given time, you are worshipping the Lord. Because of your recognition of Ishvara, whatever action you perform is your contribution, your offering, archana to the Lord. You offer your actions unto the Lord, who is in the form of the creation and who continues to do the job of creation. You are one of his limbs. You perform your role, which is an important one. Otherwise, you would not be here. This is something like a symphony orchestra where, even though it looks as though some of the musicians could be removed, each person has a significant role to play according to the composer. One person may only play one note every 15 minutes, but that is his or her role to play in the overall scheme of things. Similarly, each of you has your own job to do, and when you do it, you are in harmony with Ishvara, the Lord. This is why, whenever you do exactly what you have to do, you find satisfaction. Even if it is something you do not want to do, once you do it, you feel great about it. Why? because you're in harmony with Ishvara. Recognizing this, you become a yogi. This recognition is not an ordinary thing, it is a vision. To be in harmony with the world, with what is to be done, with the law of dharma that governs all karma, is karma yoga. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Therefore, you choose your karmas, recognizing Ishvara as dharma. Then your actions become a form of archana to Ishvara. This attitude results in antakarna shuddhi, purification of the mind. Once this happens, it takes no time at all for self knowledge, jnana, to take place. Since antakarna shuddhi is all that is required, all the steps have been completed: karma yoga, antakarna shuddhi, and jnana. These steps are mentioned throughout the Gita, and Shankara also mentions them repeatedly in his Bhashya. Through Karma Yoga, the mind is purified, and when the mind is pure, knowledge takes place and moksha is gained. Karma Yoga, therefore, is for moksha alone. I will just repeat these few paras one more time before going on to the next verse. So, this we saw that human beings are ones that are not programmed, right? So, therefore, convenience is often the governing factor. We want what is convenient, what is pleasant. Easy gratification is exactly what human beings go for. If some work, pain, or effort is involved, we want to avoid it. So, if you're given a choice between if you have to do your sadhana and there is something good happening on the TV, say for instance the IPL finals or something, where do we choose? What do we do? And that is only time that you have. So very often man chooses something that gives us easy gratification. We want to avoid that which requires some pain or effort. The human disposition is like that, going after easy, quick gratification, wanting only what pays off immediately. This is our nature. We have therefore created in ourselves a number of raga dveshas, which prompt us to perform various actions that are not often in keeping with dharma and adharma. To go against dharma, the Lord, is to go against the order that is the Lord, and this is adharma. Doing one's own duties is worship. Since the creation operates according to this same order, there is definitely a reason that you were born. Your parents may not have wanted you, but somehow you were born. Even if you feel unwanted, still you are here because without you, this world is definitely incomplete. That is why you are here. It is as simple as that. If you see a purpose in everything in the world, why should you take your presence in this big politic of humanity as anything other than important? Even in your own body politic, everything has a role to play. Just as a tree is there, you are also there. You are important. You have roles to play and things to do. Ishvara's job is going on, and you are a cog in his wheel. This being the case, naturally, you have to do your job. You have to know that at this time and place, this is the job that you have to do. This is called swakarma. So, swakarma is what we need to do at a given time and place. What we are, the job or whatever action that is supposed to be done, that becomes our swakarma. Just as every animal and every tree contributes to this great creation, You too make your contribution. Whatever be your job, your swakarma, that very karma becomes an offering to Ishvara. Offerings to the Lord need not always be in the form of flowers. Bhagavan says that by doing what is to be done by you at a given time, you are worshipping the Lord. Because of your recognition of Ishvara, whatever action you perform is your contribution, your offering, archana to the Lord. You offer your actions unto the Lord, who is in the form of the creation and who continues to do the job of creation. You are one of his limbs. You perform your role, which is an important one. Otherwise, you would not be here. This is something like a symphony orchestra where, even though it looks as though some of the musicians could be removed, each person has a significant role to play according to the composer. One person may only play one note every 15 minutes, but that is his or her role to play in the overall scheme of things. Similarly, each of you has your own job to do, and when you do it, you are in harmony with Ishvara, the Lord. This is why, whenever you do exactly what you have to do, you find satisfaction. Even if it is something you do not want to do, once you do it, you feel great about it. Why? Because you are in harmony with Ishvara. Recognizing this, you become a yogi. This recognition is not an ordinary thing, it is a vision. To be in harmony with the world, with what is to be done, with the law of dharma that governs all karma, is karma yoga. What a beautiful definition. Another viewpoint of what karma yoga is to be in harmony with the world, with what is to be done, with the law of dharma that governs all karma, is karma yoga. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Therefore, you choose your karmas according recognizing Ishvara's dharma. Then your actions become a form of archana to Ishvara. This attitude results in antakarana shuddhi, purification of the mind. Once this happens, it takes no time at all for self knowledge, jnana, to take place. Since antakarana shuddhi is all that is required, all the steps have been completed. Karma yoga, antakarana shuddhi, and jnana. So very well put up the steps. What our purpose in life is, that we are important. You have a role to play, however big or small that role is. Play you will. At a given time and place, whatever your role is, once you fulfill that, and your choice of action is according to dharma, according to in alignment with the order of the world, order of the creation. So you're in sync with creation, and then when you do what is to be done, then you are doing karma yoga. That leads to antakarna shuddhi, which is nothing but neutralizing the raga dveshas. And when that happens, the mind is enough prepared for jnana to happen, jnana to take place. And that is moksha. Therefore, the sole purpose of karma yoga is for moksha. These steps are mentioned throughout the Gita, and Shankara also mentions them repeatedly in his Bhashya. And this is what we'll need to keep in mind when we go through the remaining chapters. The steps, the few important steps. Through Karma Yoga, the mind is purified. And when the mind is pure, knowledge takes place and moksha is gained. Karma Yoga, therefore, is for moksha alone. So Arjuna's doubt of how you want me to do my action, you want me to fight, but you talk about sannyasa, you talk about jnana. So if jnana is the one to be gained, why are you asking me to do this terrible deed? Is what Arjuna's question is in the third chapter. So now it is very clear that doing what is to be done given a time at a given time and place, and following your dharma, following your swakarma, recognizing Ishvara, and that becomes an offering to him. That is karma yoga. Anyone wants to share before we go on to the next verse? So each of us will have to recognize and be aware of what our swakarma is. What our duties and responsibilities are, what our priorities are. So, setting our priorities, highest priority, of course, is moksha, and then comes everything else, and working towards that. So, we have taken the path of karma yoga, which all of us as grihastas, that is that is the preferred lifestyle. Then we will just have to align ourselves to the order of the creation. We're just a cog in the wheel. So, shall we move on to the next verse? Unless any one of you wants to share. दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः. Dhananjaya, O Dhananjaya, Arjuna, he therefore, Buddhi Yogat, as compared to Buddhi Yoga, that is the order, yoga of proper attitude, Karma action, Durena Avaram, is far inferior, Buddhau, in the Buddhi Yoga of proper attitude, Sharanam, refuge, Anvicha, seek, Phalahetavaha, those who perform actions only for results, Kripanaha, misers. Dhananjaya, he buddhi yogat karma durena avaram buddhau sharanam anvicha phalahetavaha kripanaha. Action based on desire is therefore far inferior to that performed with the proper attitude of karma yoga. Seek refuge in this buddhi yoga of proper attitude, O Dhananjaya. Those who perform action only for results are misers. The word buddhi yoga means karma yoga, the attitude of sameness towards all results, samatva. Karma done under the spell of one's raga dveshas is far different from karma yoga, which involves proper attitude and commitment. The result of such karma is received in keeping with one's raga dveshas and not with samatva buddhi. This kind of karma is thus far inferior, avaram, to buddhi yoga, karma yoga. Therefore, Krishna told Arjuna to take refuge in karma yoga buddhi. Buddhau sharanam anvicha. Go for it, pray for it, Arjuna, he said. Why? Because people who perform karma for the sake of the results alone and not for antakarana shuddhi and moksha are misers, kripanaha. They want only enjoyments, bhoga, and power, aishwarya. For them, there is no karma yoga, which makes them misers because they do not make use of their buddhi. In his commentary on this verse, Shankara defines misers, referring to them as helpless weaklings. Deenaha. Misers are those who have money but do not have the heart to spend it, either on themselves or on others. Those who have no money are not misers because they have no money to spend. Those who do have money and spend when there are occasions to spend are also not misers. A man who has money and spends more than what he has, who does not spend judiciously, is a spendthrift and is just as much a problem as the one who has money and does not spend it at all. A miser cannot spend because he is that afraid his money is going. Therefore, he always keeps saving for the winter of his life, retirement. Sometimes such a person dies before retirement and his brother in law gets everything. Misers have no heart to spend because their priorities are not clear. They are not at all clear about what money is for. The meaning of the word miser, kripana, is extended here to the disuse of one's buddhi. Shankara, quoting the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, discusses the meaning of the word kripana. So, kripana, the meaning is, or says refer to page 164. Okay, we'll hold it for the time being. Why is such a person a miser? Because he or she was given an intellect. I think if I remember right, the meaning of kripana there is someone who fritters away this precious human life without gaining moksha. That person becomes a kripana. That is a kripana. So, why is such a person a miser? Because he or she was given an intellect, buddhi, and does not use it. The buddhi is the discriminative power one is endowed with as a human being and is the greatest wealth, the greatest treasure that one can have. Therefore, its primary use should be for gaining self knowledge. Even though everyone has a good chance to use the buddhi, a miser hoards it or fritters it away and dies not having made proper use of the greatest wealth that he or she was endowed with. And although the money misers leave can be enjoyed by others, no one can enjoy their buddhis after they are gone. Misers are people whose aims are only small results, not moksha. Therefore, for them, there is no karma yoga or sannyasa. There is only miserliness. We have seen that according to the vision of the Veda, there are only two possibilities: to be a karma yogi or to be a sannyasi. There is no accommodation for a third kind of person. Those who are neither karma yogis nor sannyasis have to become karma yogis. Otherwise, they are misers. Therefore, Bhagwan said, take to karma yoga. So let me know if you want me to repeat this. So दूरे न ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः. Action based on desire is therefore far inferior to that performed with the proper attitude of karma yoga. Seek refuge in this buddhi yoga of proper attitude, O Dhananjaya. Those who perform action only for the results are misers. We'll do a bit of manana before we go on to the next verse. So we understand this verse clearly. So it's coming back to your actions being directed by your commitment versus convenience. If it is convenience, if convenience is what governs your choice of actions, then you're just following a raga dveshas. But if it is commitment to what is to be done at that time, and you're doing it with a proper attitude of karma yoga, you're doing it as an offering to Bhagwan, and whatever the results you have the samatva, then you are you're following karma yoga, and then you're making good use of your buddhi, the discrimination, which is the greatest wealth. So therefore a kripana, a miser, is one who does not make use of his buddhi, who does not make use of this precious wealth. He does not want to use it. Just like how in the practical world a miser is one who has money but does not want to spend. That is why the more and more innocent we become, more childlike we become, we fall in line with the harmony of the creation. And that is karma yoga. Recognizing the cog that we are in the whole wheel of creation, recognizing our roles and responsibilities. That is why there is this verse that comes back, it comes later in this chapter, is paradharmo bhayava. Swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. So, doing your swadharma, your swakarma, is far superior, even though it is difficult. And doesn't matter even if you're dying doing your swakarma. Paradharmo bhayavaha. So if you want me to go to the verse, page 164, I'm not sure if I can get that out. Should we move on to the next verse?
Didi, one thing I wanted to ask, like women generally have the tendency to ignore themselves and do everything for everybody else. May it be family, may it be outside. So is this paradharma doing like
Um,
that is by nature that we have, isn't it? If there is a pain or maybe a fever also, we will still not rest but do something for people at home and everyone. So like even for friends or sometimes even we go out of the way doing things for others. So is it a per dharma? Like, what I cannot understand still, the difference between dharma and par dharma in wherein family and close ones are involved.
yeah, see, when there is pain, becomes your duty to pay attention to that and take care of that. Self care is also part of your duty, because your body is there, it's a vehicle, and you have to take care of it. So ignoring that and pushing your body is like flogging a tired horse. So, like, you have duty towards the society. See, the thing is, we think seva, some of us might think seva is just doing things for others. But seva is doing things for home as well. Your home is part of the world. So, doing what is required for people at home is including, it does include, sevas includes even your home. And while we do that, it also includes your own body. This does not mean we should become so self consumed by self protection that we become hypochondriac. No. To whatever extent you have to take care of your body, you have to take care. That becomes our swakarma as well.
Yes, Devi.
Although you can increase your threshold of pain tolerance, like, you can, by, and that is our experience with all these practices. Our pain threshold kind of increases. The same amount of pain that someone else has may not actually affect us as much. That is different. But when you're getting some pain signals and you are going through some illness, or um, you would have to take care of it.
Yes, Didi. And yeah, I got it. Thank you.
I think one more aspect here is delegation of responsibility to
Yeah.
others in the family. Earlier in our childhood, we used to see that our mothers, etc., when they were had their menstruation cycle, for 4 5 days they would be sitting on an iron cord away from everybody, nobody to touch them, etc. I don't think that practice is anymore prevalent today in today's times. But even in the villages and all, I think I've seen in many religions, this kind of a system was there. The lady was given full rest for 5 days. Even a meal would be pushed to her near her bed. She would pick it up herself. Uh, a lot of these things were there. But then, because of that, the children learn to do the household duties. Right now, I find that we are pampering our children too much. In Gujarati households, I have seen very small children making rotis also. So, but their hands will get burnt or whatever. We are not giving any responsibility, not delegating work to our children, household work. Always the whole thrust is on, they have to have enough time for studies. But are they really studying or are they on social media? So that also aspect is there.
Very right. So, I mean, you just said what was on my mind: delegation. So, I think proper delegation of work again. And you very rightly pointed out that that was the practice. But right now, the modern world, well, we grew up like that. When we were having our periods, we would be given those, we had to. In fact, that was a norm then. But because of the rush of the lifestyle change so much that, my mother had to take care of we have three daughters. So if it became a matter of convenience to not sit aside, because you need everything, you can't touch anything, and my mother had to be the one providing everything to each one, so that would have been difficult. So therefore it became the modernized version of dealing with menstruation, and that actually has posed a lot of problems. And like you rightly said, it is the mother takes on the roles by herself. But then if we are able to be practical and delegate roles wisely, then the mother also gets rest. My daughter would always say, Amma, you're always working, working, working. I don't see you resting at all. So taking care of yourself, self-care is as important. That we have to recognize.
Here, I think someone was making a point that this is what I felt. Like most of the ladies have this innate nature of going one, mm, like to give yourself completely. It's an innate nature, right? I mean, it's inbuilt in us. So that is swadharma, or because most of the ladies would have this nature of going out of the way to do things, and I have seen in many ladies than in men.
Probably I feel that there the delegation aspect again is missing. If you are wanting to do everything for your family and you are not making your children do anything, then that is, you are not able to. A good leader is one who can delegate authority and responsibility, is what I learned when I did my management course. So, along with the authority, the responsibility is also delegated. The children can do some portions of work in the house also, household chores. You can, cleaning up vessels, etc. Anything that can be given to them, no matter how small they are. Families where this was done, I have seen those children grow up well. Otherwise, why should children who have grown up not know cooking? Then, when they have to go to the hostel and fend for themselves, or they are staying as a paying guest when they go elsewhere for higher studies, then what happens to them? That training is also essential, and I think it is our responsibility to delegate this kind of, instead of wanting to do all the work yourself. We need to learn, change that attitude that we need to delegate, so that they grow up as better persons too, rather than hoarding everything to ourselves, all the responsibilities in our own sector. We need to give it out.
That is what the skill in the work, that is kushalam. The delegation also is a needs skill, how to delegate and how to take work also. So that comes in karma yoga only. Continue.
Yeah, so using that discrimination, that discretion. Otherwise, see, the reason why most women want to do everything is because they feel they've taken it up on themselves. For instance, between my parents, my father and mother, my father would do what is necessary and he would retire, go to bed. But my mother would go on and on towards late in the night. Because somewhere there is that rag. I I'm wanting to say that is because of that raga, that desire. Unless she does that, she will not feel complete.
And that's what I was wanting to pinpoint here,
Yeah.
that we have this nature, by nature, we are like that, isn't it? To do something for the family or the, it's not, I mean, I do agree that we have to manage and we have to delegate things, but this is our inner nature. uh, that comes very naturally, and it is a situation to situation, like if you are put in some situation where man and woman are involved, it is the lady who would go one step ahead and help the person, or try to do try to solve it, then the man will just give up very easily, but the woman would not. This is what I will. And is that a swadharma, or
I
uh,
will, yeah, what I would do is see what is karma yoga is doing, what is to be done at a given place and time, right? So for the for to preserve the body in a good healthy condition, you require rest. So once the clock ticks at say 10 or 11, and you know this is your time, you have to retire. Enough of work, enough of activity, you have to rest. Pushing your body through in order to complete some work, maybe that work can wait. That is where your discretion has to come up. I'm not sure whether I'm making sense there. So there is, and like my daughter says, work is never complete in a house. That is what it is, right? There is every time there is something else to be done. But we
yeah.
will have to put that commas, full stops, and that for that we require that discrimination, that discretion. You can go on, continue to work, but can you do that? You need to rest somewhere. We need to draw a line somewhere. So that's what I keep telling my mother. If supposing one of us or any relative is traveling home, maybe they're arriving the next day. My mother spends the whole night doing things. Visit required? No. She should come to the she's doing it out of love, yes. But also somewhere deep down, she's neglecting her own health. She's neglecting her body. She's pushing the body beyond its tolerance levels. And then the next day she ends up having not enough sleep. And it's a cycle, that is a vicious cycle there. So this is where I think we should step back and say, okay, the main things are done. That is enough.
So, Didi,
We'll,
taking help from children and outside help is also okay?
of course,
Yeah.
of course. That is why, I mean, that is an intelligent way of living, isn't it? Again, you're not doing it out of convenience. You're doing it out of commitment, yes. But that commitment, you have commitment also to your body. It is commitment. So I think it is how we perceive this. So supposing the cog in the wheel of creation is is overworked, then it will give way, right? It will buckle up, and then the wheel of creation gets affected. So taking care of our body is also our swakarma. Like taking care of our mind is swakarma. Otherwise, we'll become like kripanas, misers, if you're not exercising this power of discretion, this buddhi.
Jai Gurudev. And also, some women are very meticulous and fastidious about the kitchen. They don't, even the man of the house wants to help. They're not happy with his work. They feel that he's messing up and all that. So in that process, that lady gets, sucked into that, and she has to suffer.
So what is happening there? It is her raga for cleanliness, raga for perfection, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
So many times Gurudev has said, make place for imperfection, make place for imperfection.
correct. So we just have to recognize, understand, and maybe analyze a little bit. Is our action directed by a raga and dvesha, or is it is coming out of a sense of commitment? What is to be done at that time? Spontaneous actions are bereft of raga dvesha. For example, someone is falling down, you spontaneously go and help. You don't think there, oh, what will happen to me, or what. All spontaneous actions are bereft of raga dvesha. This is one, we'll keep this aside. Next will be those that are seemingly it looks as if they are like a sacrifice, but then is it actually a sacrifice, or is it born of an inner, that subconscious raga dvesha is showing up there?
So how to deal with this one, Didi? The one that it is coming out of subconscious.
I think by awareness, no, the more and more we are aware.
Awareness is also there, but it doesn't go. I don't know, some impression. So we need to meditate more, maybe.
Needs sadhana, meditation. Yes. Meditation erases the impact.
Like again,
Impression.
today, I don't know, my mother's coming back again and again. Yeah, please continue, Sureshji, continue.
No. I think I had only that point, that much point. That meditation erases the impressions. Guruji, even yesterday, I think, or day before yesterday, he told that. And that is
If it
the,
raises, then it keeps coming back, sir.
yeah, again,
Because in the
because
present,
we
the
had so
situation
many,
becomes like that. Then again, that raga or maybe that impression comes back, and then again you are in a
we
different
need
state.
continuous practice of sadhana.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody.
Recently my mother has some spine issues, and she was advised not to bend, not to sweep, not to mop. And these are exactly what she would do till now. I mean, she's 80 now, but she continues because in her mind, the house has to be mopped, has to be cleaned every day. That is how she grew up, and that is how she continued through now. It is not something that she can stop. She cannot do, because if the house is not swept, not mopped, she will feel incomplete. Whereas in my sister's house, for instance, in America, they get deep cleaning done once a month. They live in huge mansions, and then it is practically not possible for someone to have this in their list of to do things, to sweep and mop the house every day. You will end up spending more than 2-3 hours doing just that. So you move according to the situation, right? Now, we've told her there is a vacuum cleaner we got for them, but she refuses to use that because she's very, she's used to using the broom, the regular broom. There is also this vacuum cleaner which mops and cleans up. But for that, they're having to, because it's the Indian households, we have those culverts at every from one room to the other. So necessarily someone has to bend down, pick it up, and put it in the others on the other side. So all that is, practically a little difficult. So she finds it very convenient to just sweep and mop. But that is something now she's asked not to do. So she's finding it's actually difficult to refrain from doing that. But then she's kind of realized, she says, no, I have to take care of my back. I said, Amma, your back is important now. Everything else can be subjugated. You can delegate. You can ask that lady who comes to wash vessels to do the house cleaning. But then again, like it was pointed out, my mother is a little is a little particular about cleanliness, about perfection, but and you know how the other maid servants do. They may not do it according to her level of satisfaction. So these are things that one has to resolve inside, in the mind. And that is where I think discretion comes in. Small things, but letting go of certain things, giving room for imperfection, and understanding and making sure that our actions, we're using our free will towards doing what is to be done. For my mother at that time, taking care of her spine is more important
One
than,
solution I've got for
yes.
this is that you know, like how in the building compound where the sweeper sweeps, he has a big rod that he ties to the broom. The same thing. So that will involve that she will not bend down. So that rod will help. Even a wooden stick or something tied to a broom. And even for sweeping and swabbing, we have got now with the rods, you know.
No, she
So
uses
earlier
the
it used to
rod.
be
She,
just
of
a
course,
washing cloth
correct. There is a mop with a rod, with a
mop.
stick,
Yeah.
but the broom is not
Broom
that.
also you can with a sutri dori, like a
Mm,
rope, kind of thin ropes,
mm,
like structures are available. You can tie a wooden stick, a
mm.
thick wooden stick to it. The sweepers do it, you know, who come to clean a compound and all in the building.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. So then it will. And another thing is she can wear a waist belt. When I had an L3, L4, and I used to do my cleaning, I used to wear my waist belt and clean.
Mm. If you ask my mother to do those, you give her those, she will do everything else. You know, she is someone who she's unimaginably sacrificing. She sacrifices everything. She's such a person who keeps giving. But self care is important, very important.
And
It's a
then
fine
if
line,
you
right? It's a balance that we have to create inside.
That's true.
Mhm.
And I
yeah,
can very much relate to her with so
Mhm.
many people around me, like her and myself, I feel.
Mm. Yeah.
and there is
One
no
day,
harm telling your relatives or close friends about your state of your being
Mm.
for not helping, because your friends know what kind of nature you are. So having any problem in your body will make it very clear to them for not helping also.
Well, that's what my younger sister does, and I really appreciate her. She's very frank. They have a big house, and very often, I think once a year at least, one of the Swamis, Swami Tattva Vidananda, he stays in their house, and there is a lot of people come from across America and stay in their house. The last time they had about 40 people staying in their house. She just and she's a doctor herself. So she puts up roles. These are the duties to be done. These are things to be done. As a householder, they provide all the raw material. They also tell them this, and this to be done. So she allows them to do. She does not stretch herself and then push herself up to no end to in order to satisfy them. No, they do what is to be done and then let it go. And each one is asked to make up their own beds and clean up and make their own breakfast. They show them where this is. But there may be others who would want to do everything for the people who come. Atiti Devo Bhava, yes, but you can't stretch that Atiti Devo Bhava to stretch your body beyond its capacity. So I appreciate how my sister handles people who come home, even if it's relatives. I mean, she tells them, please, you'll need to step in and please do this, do that. So,
you see, even when we go on tour, na, Gurudev has told us that we may stay in somebody's house where we are taking advanced courses and all in that area. Somebody will host us, but we don't eat and get up and not help around. Like we pick up our own plate, we take it to the sink. If we are not allowed to wash it and they take it away from our hand, it's something different. But we would definitely make that attempt to wash our plate ourselves.
yeah.
And when we are there, then there are naturally more people coming to the house.
I think,
Gurudev was talking about Gandhiji once, that hinsa to the body also, when he was
Mm.
talking about ahimsa, and he said hinsa to your own body is also hinsa. So you should not like. There was a small boy who had a habit for drinking tea in Gandhiji's ashram. One day he was caught drinking tea. So Gandhiji went on a fast and for that day. And the other people around Gandhiji scolded that boy for drinking tea, that he was now suffering because he was fasting because he made a crime. So it made it look like a crime. Then Gurudev was telling us he was doing hinsa to his body, Gandhiji, and now look at the space for assisting in the ashram. This boy will no longer want to stay in the ashram. He was treated like a criminal. So did you kill his space for volunteering? So this way also there are so many things in our perceptions which we need to change.
Mm. That's true, very, very much true. But then what happens is when we are working, the focus is at the work, and we don't ever think that we are harming ourselves or harming our hinsa to the body. That thought never comes. It only comes when there is a pain or ache. But the focus is on getting the thing done, and not that I'm doing it or I'll be in trouble. That thought never comes, I think. Otherwise, no one wants to trouble their body purposely. But it happens by nature. This is what I'm trying to say. It's the nature inbuilt which prompts you to do these things, and the focus is not on how much trouble you will get, your body will get. That is kept aside, I feel, and or it doesn't occur at that time.
No,
But
but then
I,
this situation is ongoing how many times? Like over the years, it keeps happening. So that awareness level in you needs to also go up. You need to become more aware, like Dr. Brahmra said. Awareness has to be increased. Because if there are guests which are going to come, now in my house, Saturday follow ups is there. After that, we have something like a potluck. But then my son ends up cleaning the utensils, especially the glass ones, till everybody has finished eating and then the volunteers take over or something. That's a different thing. But sometimes he allows them, sometimes the volunteers don't allow him to. So everybody plays their own role, in cleaning the utensils. So somebody will warm up the chapatis that are made and kept before the kriya starts. So all this is there, and then they will start warming it up. One lady will do it. So there is a complete delegation of the work. It's not like my wife will be pushed into doing all the work. That awareness level is there, and I keep telling them that my wife is now 75 and she cannot do all the work herself. So she is making a salad, somebody is warming up the roti, somebody. So that kind of awareness level has to come in at some point of time. Otherwise, you are doing hinsa to your own body also, no?
That's true.
Yeah.
Without being aware, we are doing that. That's true. Thank you
and
so
then
much.
those who perform action only for results are misers. We need to remember this. So our actions have to be like a yajna, Ishwararpana buddhi and prasada buddhi. Sticklers for perfection. They are only looking at the results. They are not doing the job as a yajna. They're not taking it as prasada. Doesn't matter if there's a little imperfection. If someone, supposing you've delegated the cleaning of the kitchen to your husband and he's not cleaned it the way you wanted, take it as a prasada rather than, so at every point, I think we can, when we apply the equation of karma yoga, you're doing it as a yajna bhava because what is to be done at that time? If your body is saying, I'm tired, I want to sleep, you have to listen to your body. You better stop what you're doing, maybe quickly complete what it is, and then go and rest. Right? So I think at every point we have this free will. And how we're using the free will? Is it with discrimination, with discretion? And then letting go of that, of the need for perfection, need to complete, need to satisfy our own mind. Somewhere deep down we have so much of raga that Yes, I want to do this. I want to see the smile on their face. I want to see their happiness. That itself is a raga somewhere. But you need to do, yes, you need to feed your people. You do as much as you can. You can feed and complete satiate hunger by just doing 2 3 simple dishes. You don't need to do an array of say 10 different dishes, correct? So in order to feed, I mean, I might be stretching a little bit, but what I'm saying is where to put commas, where to put full stops, we'll have to use our discretion. I think we'll stop here today. We've had a fruitful discussion. Tomorrow we'll continue with the same train of thought continues in verse number 50.
Just I'd like to add one more point here, that even when everybody else, the other volunteers who have come for the Kriya are doing the work, then it becomes like one big family. Otherwise, you're the host and the guest. There is Dvaitya, as you say. There are
Mhm.
two different parties. But here, everybody is becoming united and everybody is happy doing the work that they're doing. If one is making the rotis hot, one is cleaning the utensils. So all that becomes, it's like one big family then again. So that is also important rather than doing all the work yourself.
That's very true. And recently, I have experienced that. My daughter got married and she got engaged in the US. And there, as Brahmaraji was saying, you have to take help of people. And that's what I learned over there. And there were no guests in the function, though it was a very small one. There were no guests in the function. Everybody was host there. Everybody was put in. And I remember the olden days where it's small functions like this at home. Everybody would be helping to get things done, and that's what I saw there in US. Otherwise, here we have help and we have so many people working for you. That kind of culture is losing, like coming and helping at the wedding. When there is a wedding at home, everything is ordered or something. But here, that oneness was there, belongingness was there, and then relatives, they were helping. Whoever was with me, they were helping and doing things. It felt really very nice. Thank you so much.
See, helping and taking help, both are important. It's not just helping others, but the ability to receive people's help is also equally important. Yeah, I think we'll stop here today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishnarpanamastu.
is accept meditation is accepting this moment, living every moment totally with depth. Let us keep our spine erect and body relaxed and eyes closed. Relax your shoulders. Keep a big smile on your face. You're sitting like the statue of Buddha, very serene and with a serene smile on your face. Relax your body. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your chest region, throat and chest region. If you notice some tension in the body, just let it be. Except those parts of the body where you feel a tension, the other parts are in comfort. Other parts are at peace. Become aware of that also. There are many good things about you and inside of you. Acknowledge them. They will never leave you. And the negative aspect you may see in you is never going to stay with you forever. They are all guests for some time. Let them be. Sit with the total acceptance of yourself the way you are at this very moment. Total acceptance of what is now here will lead us to deeper meditation. Let go of all the efforts. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let go of all your effort and be in this emptiness. And slowly and gradually become aware of body and surroundings. And you may gently open your eyes. Meditation